Hey guys! In today's video, we are going to practice our polygonal model skill by creating this beautiful chair. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel, leave your like and comment here what you would like to see in the next videos. So, let's go to class! Let's start by creating a rectangle. Adjust the parameters to 86 by 83. Make sure to center the rectangle in the scene. Let's add the edit spline and convert the points to the corners. Delete the front edge and with the fillets in the vertex mode, round the back of our rectangle. Returning to a rectangle here in the modifier panels, let's enable rendering in the viewport and let's add thickness to our rectangle. Let's set it to 3 by 55. Now, when returning to edit spline, it will already create the shape or edits we made. Let's adjust it here in the scene and add an edit poly. Now we use the ring and the add connect to add two edges to create the cut here in the center of the piece. Let's add another loop in the front. We also adjust it with the edge connect and we will do the same on the other side of the piece. Now we'll select the face we are going to delete. I will do the same inside the object and press delete. Now we use the bridge to close the space. Here I select two edges and then select all the edges. Unselect the corners and use the bridge to close the space. Once this is done, we'll apply a chamfer to the edges to rounding off. We adjust the size here according to what we want in the object and confirm with OK. Now let's delete the edges that it created. We don't need them. Let's create a new connection to the mesh using our cut. I will create one here to the sides. We'll connect these on the sides and this other on the bottom. Let's do the same on the top of the object. We'll remove the edges and use the connect tool to connect them. We also use the cuts to create this new connection between the face. Here, as we need to do the same on the inside of the object, I will do it only on this back part of the model. Now, I will do it on the front part. Here, we have three edges, so just use the connect tool. Once this is done, we use the symmetry to mirror the shape on the z-axis and also on the x-axis. Now we can add an edit poly and select all the face on the outside of the object. We apply a detach to separate them. Let's delete the insides, and now with the shell we will give thickness to our model. Again, this time with the exterior and interior with the same shape to separate it. Once this is done, we can convert it to editable poly. I'm going to remove this back edge. Add two new segments with the add connects, and we are going to use the chamfer again to create a detail here on the back part of the object. We are going to adjust the size. Now we select this face, we can delete them. At the top, we are going to remove this edge and add two new loops to fill the shape. We are going to the same on the insides, and now we are going to close the space with our bridge. Remembering that the shortcuts I'm using are appearing in the lower left corner of the screen. I'm going to do the same here on the sides, selecting the edges and using the bridge The same on the top and on the left side. Okay, once that is done, let's now select the top face of our object. Let's apply a detach with the clone option. And now we adjust it so that it's close this space. Let's use these two faces to create a detail here inside our object. I'm going to use two new loops in the center to let this face stay a little inside the object. We'll select the exterior face. Use the detach and we are going to use only this face to create our detail. I'm going to add an unwrap modifier here to create a map of this object to create the mesh. We are going to use the project and use the unfold option here in your unwrap. Let's select the face and align them, both horizontally and vertically. Then center the model here inside our panel. Okay, once that is done, let's run on script. Let's go here to script. The script is to UV the mesh. The link is in the video description. It's create a copy of our object and adds a morpher modifier, thus flaring our 3D object. Now let's create one of the details of that. I'm going to use a plan. I'm going to add value here of 1 and 0.4. Holding shift, we are going to create a copy. I'm going to add a loop in the center and move down here in the object. We are going to create a very simple wave. I'm going to create a copy. We are going to align the copies and use the transform to flip your object. We're also going to flip the face and use the attach to join the two faces. With weld, we're going to weld the points. We're also going to create a copy of our plane that was standing up. We're going to use attach to join them. We're going to use the link to create two new loops here in the center of our plane. Set the value to 60. We're going to delete the top and the bottom of the Zs. Once that is done, we're going to create a copy or side details. These horizontal details of ours. Holding down Shift K. We drag it up. We're going to flip its face as well as we did it with the other object. We're going to create a copy of our plane. We're going to align it here on the axis. We're also going to align our wave in the center of the object that we created a copy of. Once that is done, we're going to use attach and flip this face, and now we can join out the object. Let's weld these points here in the center with the welds and remove these edges. Now we already have our model here for us to create the copies. For this, I will position it here at the bottom of our plane and use the area modifier. Here we have the count option. I will change the offsets to -1 so it created the copies upwards, and here in count on the x-axis I will put the value of 70. Here I see that it's a little bigger, so let's decrease it, put 60. And on the y-axis we will put the value of 70. Now we use the scale. Before that we will change the count on the x-axis to 55. And now we use our scale. I will change it here to 60%, and here I will increase the value on the y-axis. So we adjust so that copies fit our face here and fill the model. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to fill the entire area of our face. Once that is done, I will use the align to align on all axes. And now we convert it to editable poly. Now switch to vertex mode. Select all the vertices and apply welds to weld the points. Since the array doesn't weld the points, it's just creating copies of our object. Once that is done, we can add the skin wrap modifier. Let's go here to the list of modifiers. Let's go here to parameters and click and add. Click on our face and down here, it's calculate our skin. Now, we return to our face that we created with UV mesh. And here, we lower the value from 100 to 0, so it's returned the original position. You can notice that it's not working correctly. Let's adjust this by changing our skin wrap deformation for face, and then we have our detail working correctly. I will cover it to editable poly, and now align into our face that was created first. We can delete this copy and delete it also in face of Into. Here we have our detail working correctly within our structure that we created. What we're going to do now is use the shell modifier to give thickness to our detail. We are going to adjust the value here in inner amount to 0.2, here now 0.1, and in outer to 0.05. We add the open subdivide modifier, and here we see the models working correctly. Okay, that we are going to add the symmetry. I'm going to move it down here in the modifiers bar. Leave it just above the editable poly. We are going to adjust the symmetry to correct axis. In this case, it will be the y-axis, and we are going to center it on the x-axis to correctly mirror our detail. Let's now go to the other part of the model. Let's select a box. Let's create a detail here in front of our object. Just click and drag and then adjust the position here more or less above, and we also adjust the size of our detail. I'm going to use the snap to align into the front of the face. Now I'm going to create a copy with the clone option turned on. I'm going to position it a little higher and convert it to editable poly. Let's bring this back face to create the base where the upholstery of our chair will be. I'm going to add a chamfer to the edges to round them. Let's put the value of 2 here. We are going to use the edge connector to connect laterally, and with our cuts we are going to create these points on the back of the model. We are going to do it only in half since we have our symmetry to mirror the shape. Here I'm going to adjust the points a little better, so that it's not so crooked. We are going to use the symmetry on the x-axis and also on the z-axis. I'm going to take advantage and create the cuts here also on the front to connect the models correctly. And here we'll see that we already have created this object of ours. I'm going to cover it to editable poly, and here adjusting the size of the upholstery. Let's adjust it here with the scale itself. Once that is done, I'm going to adjust the center lines, and let's add a new support loops on the front. Let's now select all the edges of the models to create a rounding using our chamfer. I'm going to select the front of the models here too. Here we are going to adjust the size. Once that is done, we are going to select the edges on the sides of the object. First, I'm going to add the support loops on the bottom, and now selecting the edges, we are going to apply an extrude. Let's create a slash notch here on the sides of the object. Once that is done, we add the open subdivide modifier and see how the models is behaving. Now I'm going to add a new edit poly, and I'm going to use the push option to create the upholstery effects here on our mesh. Let's adjust the strength here of our brush, and little we are going to create a slight ripple on our object. Here our 3ds Max brush is very sensitive, and you can't use Ctrl-Z option on it, as it will create some defects in the mesh. So make sure to create the details slightly, and then adjust them, using the Relax and Soften option also here in your Brush Modifiers panel. Here, I'm using it in the front to break up this stretched part and also to soften the face of our upholstery. Here, we can notice the difference. I'm going to create a little rounding on the sides. Remember that effects will create these details. We can use symmetry and mirror the shape of the sides that looks better here in your model. Okay, now that we created this, I'm going to use the Shift to create a slice round here in your upholstery on the sides. I'm already satisfied with the results. I'm going to return to the models here. Let's select this detail from the front. Let's adjust the height here, as well as the sides so that it matches our main shape. I'm going to use the chamfer to round the corners a little, thus making the model not so hard with very square face. Now, let's create a new box to create a cushion, here, which will be the backrest part of our chair. Here, we can adjust its size. I will put the value here of 53, and we'll add the slight rotation backwards here in the model. I will adjust it here to 50, and with that we have the base of the upholstery. Here, in segments, we'll leave it at 2. Then 27 and 26 so that we can create the details here using the cloth modifier of our 3ds Max. I'm adjusting it here so that it better fits the shape of our chair. And now we can add the modifier. Let's go to the object properties. Change your box to cloth and add the base of our chair as collision and also the bottom as a collision. I will usually leave the offset at 0.2. And to the simulation using the simulate here with the bar on our timeline, creating the simulation. So we can select the time where the simulation is better for us. Then we can just convert it to editable poly, and we can now delete the cloth modifier that will automatically add to the other object. Once that is done, I will select all of these adds and add an extrude to create the detail here on our back cushion. Finally, we will add the Open Subdivide modifier to smooth the shape. Let's do the same now on this bottom part. I will select the edges of the edges to apply a chamfer and then use the modifier to smooth its shape. Let's do the same thing now on the other edges of our chair, selecting all the edges so we can create the chamfer, creating this slice rounding, not leave the shape so hard on our model. Make sure to select all the edges of the model and apply a chamfer right after. Now we add the Open Subdivide modifier, and here we see that we have a small problem here on the back of the model, where we have the face that has come triangulated, so we will solve it by adjusting your mesh. I'm going to remove some edges and reconnect the mesh using the tools like Cut and or Add Connect, as well as Target Weld and Collapse. We are going to link the new face on the top face and then use the mirror to mirror the shape. I'm going to do the same on the side of the object, since it looks exactly like from the front. Let's use the cut tool and then our target weld. Once that is done, let's add a symmetry and we will have this part of the model already adjusted. I will now create some cylinder to complement the shape of our model. Let's use symmetry and create a copy behind it. Adjust its position so that it's matched to the chair. Let's convert our upholstery base to editable poly. And now I'm going to select the bottom face to create the base that supports the upholstery. Let's improve this entire mesh, removing some edges and making some connection on the edges using the cut tool. Here, in the back, we will add new loop with the connect vertices to connect some vertices. Now, we can use the shell to give it thickness, and so we have our base almost created. We will just adjust the front part so that it doesn't not cross or detail of the front part of the object. Once that is done, we will add some support loops and a modifier to smooth off the shape. Here, returning to the base of the chair, I will add some support loops to keeping the curve a little tighter since without the loops. So let's add 2 support loops all the way around the object, near the parts where the edges change direction. And so we have the solid and firm base of our model. With that, we have our finished model. That was today's video. I hope you enjoyed the contents. See you next time. Bye! Subscribe to the channel, it's very important.